The summer 2025 anime season is just around the corner, and man oh man, after looking at this season, this is probably the most stacked season of anime in years. This is definitely the most stacked season of anime of the year, with a lot of returning titles and some promising new ones as well, and I am incredibly excited for it. And in preparation for that, in making a list of stuff that I would want to watch, I also looked into finding stuff that other people might want to give a shot or seem interesting, and I decided, hey, why not make a video on it to talk about shows that people might not end up hearing about or didn't realize are coming out this season. So that's what this video is essentially about, and I've been wanting to go back and to do some more anime-centric videos like I used to do when I first started the channel before focusing more on manga. And if you guys want to see me do more anime-centric videos, let me know in the comments, and if there's a series you'd want me to make a video on in the future, because I want to talk about more anime on this channel outside of manga or adaptations of what I'm covering. And so if you're interested in future stuff like this, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Also, something I'm trying to experiment with is doing reaction type videos for anime that I am currently watching. I'm planning to make those Patreon exclusive for the time being, as I'm working through all this stuff. So maybe one or two anime that are on this list will be some of the first reaction type content I will be doing here on my Patreon. So link into that will be in the description down below if you want to become a patron right now. You also get early access to videos, access to my patron only Discord server, and you'll get videos early before they're uploaded here on YouTube. Now with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this massive season of anime. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing first is talk about briefly the sequels, because those are what a lot of people are going to be coming to the season for, and one of the main draws of this season, and then I'll be getting into the anime originals or new adaptations of brand new shows that are coming out in this season as well. And in terms of my entire list, I ended up grabbing 30 anime. Yeah, that's right, 30 anime that seem either interesting or that I am going to be watching myself as well, and by far recommending to you guys as well. So the sequels will probably be rapid fire for the most part, since many of these are very popular anime that have made the rounds for a long time and much anticipated returns that people have been waiting for. So let's just get the list jump started. So first off, we got My Dress Up Darling Season 2. Now this was probably one of the fan favorite romance anime that had come out during the post-COVID era of anime. And it's not hard to see why. It was charming, it was funny, it really showed a good relationship between the two main cast members, and it had a nice message of just enjoying what you like and not caring what other people think, and just being who you are and not being ashamed of your interests and hobbies. Couple that in with Marin's infectious personality and just absolutely magnetic sense of just drawing the viewer's attention in more ways than one. It is definitely an anime that I'm going to be watching. Now, I usually stay clear of ecchi series for the most part, because a lot of the time it's done in a way that kind of takes away from whatever plot the writer tries to do. But this series actually does it fairly well and doesn't need to get overly distracting, at least for me, and it is a beloved romance series for a reason. The characters are great, and the romance is being done fairly well, and it doesn't shy away from certain topics. Next up, we got doesnt Season 2. Definitely, probably the most anticipated sequel of this year right now. As well, it's doesnt Season 2. It is following the Evil Eye arc and some more incredible aspects of the doesnt manga that I am up to date with. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this is also the season where the first 3 episodes were shown in American theaters a month before this was initially going to come out officially. And based off of first-hand accounts, these first couple of episodes are going to be absolutely insane. And trust me, if you liked dons's first season even a little bit, Season 2, with what they're going to be covering, is going to be absolutely insane. And if Science Saru keeps up, it'll be definitely one of the best looking shows of the season, if not the year. Next up is Kaiju number 8 Season 2. This anime did a lot better than I was initially expecting, and for good reason. Kafka's very fun and energetic personality. You like seeing an older main character for the first time. It's definitely something different. The kaiju fights are amazing. We have a lot of fun and interesting characters that we start to grow attached to, and overall, it's just a fun watch. And Season 2 is just to be more of Kaiju number 8, but it's going to lead off to, if I'm right, a really interesting set for the series, for some really well-adapted moments, and some fights that I cannot wait to get adapted for. Next up is Call of the Night Season 2. Now, Call of the Night is a High Dive exclusive, so if you want to watch that, go on High Dive. It is an interesting series. It is, if I would describe it as a word, it's a vibe. Essentially, it's around vampires and doing so in a very different way. The main character ends up having a sense of insomnia. He runs into a vampire, and he is allured with the sense of just being out in the night. The quiet, the serene air, how it is, and so Nazuna, the main vampire, essentially hangs out with him all the time, and he wants to become a vampire, but in order to become a vampire, you have to fall in love with the vampire trying to turn you into a vampire. Season 1 was relatively episodic. You mostly watched it for the vibes, but then you end up learning more about these vampires in this universe and the wider world of where Nazuna inhabits, as well as her being a big question mark as to her mysterious past. And apparently Season 2 is supposed to dive further into Nazuna as a character, which makes me incredibly interested, and I cannot wait to watch this anime. It was definitely one of my favorites when it first came out, so look forward to that. Next up is the second part of Sakamoto Days Season 1. Sakamoto Days is a fun action series with a retired assassin, basically anime John Wick for the most part, trying to live a normal life with a bounty on his head for leaving the assassination world. Season 1's first half ended with a cliffhanger leading up to a very action-heavy arc, which I do have faith that the anime will end up giving justice to, so it's going to be a lot more action, comedy, the same stuff we saw from Sakamoto Days Part 1, so look forward to it. You'll have a crap ton of fun. Next up is an anime that I've been told to watch for a long time, and I'm planning to watch it now, is Grand Blue Dreaming Season 2. The second season of an anime that came out in 2018, and apparently it is a very fun comedy show, and it focuses on college students at a beach. I don't know too much about it, I'm going into it blind, but if it's as good as people and some of my friends have been telling me to, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this, and I hear it's hilarious. So yeah, Grand Blue Season 2, if you've been waiting for that, it's out next month. Next up is Part 2 of Dr. Stone's final season, Science Future. Now, Dr. Stone's was supposed to be a 3-course season, so this final season is going to have its final part next year. But Part 2 is essentially one of the most high-stakes and tense sections of the Dr. Stone story, and anybody who's watching it is going to be on the edge of their seats. It'll focus a lot on Senku and Zeno's dynamics, and their being chased by Stanley and his little militia, so they can, while Senku is trying to find the origins of the petrification beam and figure out what's going on with the Y-Man. I'm not going to say any more on this, I read the manga. All I'll say is if you liked Part 1, you are definitely going to like Part 2 even more. It is very high stakes and very tense. It will keep you on the edge of your seats. Next up, I Was Reborn as the Seventh Prince Season 2. Now, this anime I did not watch, but I've only seen clips of it, and it looked like an incredibly well-animated action fantasy series. Pseudo Isekai, it's a reincarnation story of a guy that wanted to learn magic, couldn't, now got reincarnated and has insane magic and just wants to study more magic. The only reason I didn't watch it is because, well, the way they draw the main character is a bit uncomfortable for me. Specifically, they focus way too much on the thighs, which the character is a kid, so I don't get it. I don't get why they drew the character like that. It's probably nothing, but it's just weird for me. Either way, it's just very harem-baity, but like the action looks very fun, and I've been told that it is a fun watch, so I'll probably watch Season 1 so I can jump into Season 2, but I'm not putting my hopes up at the moment. Next up, an anime I was not expecting up until recently. We're getting another Panty Stalking anime. It's called New Panty Stalking. Now, if you don't know what Panty Stalking is, if you are a newer anime fan, this anime came out in the mid-2010s, and it was made by the crew that made Gurren Lagann. And essentially, this show was inspired by American cartoons, mainly adult-oriented cartoons, you know, like South Park and Family Guy, and also the 10-11 minute segments of like kids cartoons. So what they did, they merged those two types of segments, adult cartoons with the animated children's show format, and made it an adult oriented comedy that, well, it's very vulgar, a lot of dirty jokes. You have to watch the first anime. It was a lot of fun, and I'm gonna watch this new one because hopefully it's simuldubbed, because if it is, the dub's gonna be incredibly unhinged just like the first one. So there's not too much I can say on the matter because you have to watch it for yourself. It's an experience. So yeah, go watch New Panty Stalking. I'm going to be watching it. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It's probably going to be the funniest thing this season. Next up is the second part of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Season 2. I have not finished Season 1, I'm almost done with that, but I hear Season 2 was better than Season 1, and the second part is supposed to be even better. So if you're a fan of this anime, Season 2's second half, second core, is gonna be out this summer, so you better look out for it. Next up is Arknights Rise from Embers. Now, I only watched the first episode of the Arknights anime. I know it's based off of the Arknights mobile game, adapting specific storylines per season, and I believe there are only 8 episode seasons. There are 2 out right now. I'm currently watching through those 2 seasons. The animation quality looks really, really good, and I'm excited for this because at the bare minimum, it looks like to be a very fun, action-packed watch. So if you played the mobile game or you were interested in the first season, let's binge it and we'll see what happens. It could be a sleeper hit of the season for all we know. Next up, this one's kind of, for me personally, we're getting the Cardfight Vanguard Divine Z's Deluxe Arc Final. I like Cardfight Vanguard, it was one of the anime that got me into anime, and the newer series Divine Z has been relatively fun and has been very consistent, so I cannot wait for this to end the Deluxe Arc, which is their tournament arc right now. That was mainly for me. Anyway, moving on to the Rascal Doesn't Dream of Santa Claus, essentially, which is a continuation of Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. However, there are 3 canonical movies that take place between these 2 seasons of the anime because they adapt specific numbers of the light novel series that's already complete. Now, I have not watched the movies yet, so this season is going to be on the back burner, and I have yet to finish season 1 of Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, so I am probably going to be way behind on this one in comparison to a lot of the other sequels. So I can't really attest to anything, but I do hear many good things about this entire series and the universe. So if you watched the first season, go watch the next 3 movies that are apparently out right now for you to watch, and then come on to this season, because I hear a lot of good things about this anime and about the light novel series. So I have no doubt that this next season will also be very fun. Next up for the sequels is Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4. Yeah, we're getting a Season 4 for Rising of the Shield Hero. 2023 had Season 3 of Rising of the Shield Hero, and I'll be honest, Season 2 was a mess, and I learned that it cut a lot from the light novel and changed a lot, and it just felt like a complete mess. I had no idea what was going on. Very bad production quality. Second half got me back into it a little bit, got me a bit interested, but nothing too concrete. But Season 3 started, and it ended up looking a lot better than Season 2, and for a good few episodes, I was invested. But then, around episode 6 or 7, I think, I just lost interest in the anime, so I can't really tell you if I thought it was boring, or if I just straight up lost interest. But looking by the trailers and the promotional art, this seems to be relatively good. At least it's leading me to believe that it's going to be better. So I'll probably finish Season 3 and jump onto Season 4 to see if this will be a good season. I've heard a lot of good things about the light novels of Shield Hero, but the anime had kind of been a relatively mixed adaptation, a poor adaptation after Season 1, and I haven't really heard anything in comparison to Season 3 at the moment, so I might just read the manga and see the differences for a better telling of the story. But either way, if you like Shield Hero and you caught up through all 3 seasons, Season 4 is coming out this July, so go and check it out. And lastly, for the quote-unquote sequels, it's mostly just continuations. Obviously, we got One Piece running. Not really much to discuss there. It's still awesome. It still looks amazing. Moving on, there are actually 2 anime, at least that I can see, that are continuing over from the spring season of anime. One is being Witch Watch, with its second core being consecutive right after Core 1. It is a comedy romance series. And if you haven't watched the first core, go watch it. It's a lot of fun. It's basically the Gintama of new gen anime and manga. It's very wordy with its bits and quick banter. It focuses on Nico, a novice witch who is just trying to use her magic and master her abilities by helping others, while her childhood friend, now familiar Morihito, as well as other characters they meet along the way, are tasked with protecting her from an oncoming prophecy of pure disaster. Mix that with some serious arcs in between the very comedic and fun times with all these characters and seeing all of them interact, you got yourself a, well, Gintama-esque series for new gen fans. I had a lot of fun with Core 1, it was funny, the serious arc was done very well, and I can't wait to see more because I've heard a lot of good things about the Witch Watch manga, and it's still ongoing in one of Shonen Jump's mainstays at the moment, so I'm excited for this one. And last for these sequels / continuations is the second core of 2B Hero X. Now, 2B Hero X is a Dongwa, which is a Chinese anime, but it is a collaborative project with Aniplex, a Japanese production studio, so it's kind of a mix of both. But To Be Hero X is actually an anthology series following different heroes in this world. There is a different type of hero system and how you get powers through trust values and how people view you. And that helps develop your abilities, your rankings, and then we get to see sponsorships from other companies and how they do missions and all that. There is a lot to dive into with To Be Hero X, a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of pieces set up in advance, many mysteries that go on unanswered that will end up getting answered in later parts as each of these characters in their own subsequent stories taking place at different periods in time until they eventually meet up at specific endpoints to lead up to the current date. And it's a lot of fun and some of the best animation and experimental animation I have seen in any animated series up until this point, even in anime, with some really great action sequences and some really phenomenal story writing. So I highly recommend To Be Hero X, and the second core is looking to be even more amazing than it is today. With Season 2 being planned to essentially focus a lot more on some of the more popular characters and influenced by popularity of characters from Season 1. So if you have a favorite character, make it known, and that could influence their role in Season 2 apparently. I just wanted to mention that here. I don't know if we'll make a video on To Be Hero X in the future, maybe when it's done, but I just want to mention that. Go watch To Be Hero X. It is so good, and you will have an amazing time, and I cannot wait for Core 2. Now that is it for the sequel/continuation, so let's get on to the new anime that are coming out that I have my eye on, that I think people will be interested in for the summer season. Now let's start off with a romance series, The Fragrant Flowers Bloom with Dignity. Now I've been hearing a lot of good things about this manga recently, especially with the announcement of the anime. It follows a prep school girl who goes to a school across the street from a delinquent type school, where one day she goes to a bakery and meets one of these delinquents who is just like a regular chill nice guy, but is kind of in a very bad situation at school, but works at his family's bakery, and so they begin to gain a friendship, and a relationship will eventually grow and blossom from this. I've heard a lot of things about this manga being very well written, very good, and having a really enjoyable cast of characters, especially the main duo, so I'm excited for this. There have been a lot of good romance anime coming out lately, and I honestly cannot wait for it. It looks to be beautiful. Next up, probably one of the most anticipated anime that are coming out this season, and that is the animated adaptation of Weekly Shonen Magazine's next big hit manga, Gachi Akuda. And man, I have talked about the series a few times on the channel, but there's a lot to get into Gachi Akuda, but all you need to know is that the main character, Rudo, is in a place called the Sphere, which towers above a giant abyss. And it is separated by people who are tribesfolk and the upper class, Rudo being one of these tribesfolk and also marked like a criminal due to the fact that his father was a murderer and was flung down into the abyss, never to be seen again. One day, Rudo is accused of a crime and thrown into the abyss, only to find another world there instead of being, well, dead. And he ends up meeting characters like Engine and this group called the Cleaners, who fight these things called trash beasts, and they use weapons called vital instruments that are given power by the Cleaners, who are known as Givers. Givers are the characters in this series that are able to imbue power into inanimate objects they have a close connection to, turning it into a type of weapon for them to use. I will actually have a video out about my thoughts on the Gachi Akuda anime and how it could affect the summer season and how people will think about it. And I also have a video talking about the power system of Gachi Akuda coming out very soon, so look forward to that if you are confused. But this series has a lot of mysteries, a lot of amazing world building, some great action, and Rudo is a very interesting character to follow, as it initially starts out as a simple revenge story, but more gets fleshed out about Rudo and the world, and things aren't as simple as they seem. So look forward to one of the more fun and engaging anime of this season for a shonen battle series. So look forward to that. Next up, we got our first horror series for the season, The Summer Hikaru Died. This is also an adaptation of a manga that I have heard many good things about. Essentially, the main character's childhood friend Hikaru one day just disappeared, or I believe died, only to the next day appeared to be wholly fine. But he feels something is off, something different. And what's soon to follow is a horrifying thriller series that will test our patience and what we can see, and wondering what's going on and what happened during the summer that Hikaru died. This is kind of like the bare bones summarization of this, because I ended up looking at the first couple of chapters, and yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I'm very excited for this because I feel like I do not trust myself to talk more about this without spoiling anything. So yeah, get excited for an actually fun series of horror, because like normally horror is not my thing, but like this seems very interesting and it grabs your attention very quickly, so look forward to that. Next up is Secrets of a Silent Witch, which I actually think might be a sleeper in terms of an enjoyable anime this season. It is a fantasy series involving the Silent Witch, whose name is Monica, as she is the only mage in the world who can use magic without chanting. And she has become a true hero who defeated a legendary black dragon, but she is super shy, and and that's why she learned how to cast spells silently. But due to this, she ends up going to be a secret bodyguard for one of the second princes, and she is dragged in a world of political espionage and assassination attempts and a dark conspiracy. So we get to see this shy, incredibly powerful wizard basically put into a situation that she has no experience in, and she will have some difficulty getting around. So not only will this have some comedic moments, but have some interesting plot beats that I'm looking forward to seeing. And based on the trailer, the animation looks like it will be incredible. So I cannot wait to see that. I will definitely be watching Secrets of the Silent Witch. Next up, we have City the Animation, which honestly, it is a slice of life comedy, and the main reason why I'm watching this is twofold. One, it's done by Kyoto Animation, which is one of the predominant and well-known animation studios with healthy work schedules and just some of the best looking shows in the market. But this is also a series based off a manga done by the same people that wrote Nichijou, one of, if not the best comedy anime / manga out there. It's definitely one of my personal favorite anime of all time, and so City is even remotely as funny as that. But look forward to some wacky shenanigans between three best friends in a city, tackling adult life, debt, and just a whole bunch of stuff that you will either find relatable or just find absolutely absurd and hilarious. So, looking forward to that. Next up is a series that I wasn't going to watch initially, but the trailer did get me a little bit intrigued, and that is New Saga. The main character of the story is a magic swordsman who managed after a fierce battle to defeat the Demon King. However, after approaching an object on the brink of death that the Demon Lord used to have, he suddenly is sent backwards in time to the past, and after he recovers from the shock, he decides to use the knowledge of the future to correct mistakes from the past and be stronger so that the fight against the Demon King that he will inevitably do again is not as difficult and will avoid any unnecessary casualties and tragedies from his initial fight and journey to defeat this great evil. This is definitely a somewhat generic type of plot beat that we've seen a couple of times. Someone ends up being the Demon King or is facing insurmountable odds, all of a sudden finding a relic or discovers they have an ability to go back in time. They go back in time, they try and redo stuff from the past, make things better, so it's not as hard the second time around. The main reason why I'm watching this is because mainly I kind of like the designs of the characters, and the trailer makes it look a lot more interesting than it seems to be on the surface. So yeah, I'm not really going to go in here with high expectations, but it does look more interesting than it sounds, so I'm gonna give it a chance. Next up is Clevitus. In a world where humans are fighting against the Demon King and his army, one of the heroes ends up having a reckless encounter that causes a terrible crisis in the world that could wipe out all of humanity on the continent, and now the only hope lies in a singular baby. But the twist is the Demon King ends up finding this baby and ends up deciding to raise and protect it. So part of the story is to see if this hope of humanity being raised by the Demon King can change the Demon King from essentially destroying the world and all of humanity. So this is definitely a type of story that we have seen before, with each child changing a different character from who they are, maybe helping them grow. But this time it's a Demon King basically raising who would essentially be the person in the future to potentially stop them. So I'm curious to see where this could lead. I've heard good things about the manga, so I'm going into this with an open mind. It could be very good, it could also be not that great. So I'm going to be giving this an open mind, because it does look like it'll be interesting. Next up is an actual comedy series that I might drop and might not. It just seems relatively generic, but it is going to be Bad Girl, which is essentially following a first-year high school student named Yui, who essentially tries to basically look the part of a delinquent so she can get the attention of the student council president, and she kind of just wants a lot of attention from the disciplinary committee chair. And yeah, it's kind of a will they won't they type of relationship type thing, where the main character tries to get in trouble with the student council and the disciplinary commission so she can talk to this girl, and it seems like it'll just be a hot mess of just comedy. So I'm gonna give this a chance because the animation looks fine, and honestly, it has some Yuri vibes, and I'm kind of looking for another comedy series, because with all the hype stuff coming out this year, a few extra comedy anime to kind of be a bit of a palate cleanser and dial things down a bit is very welcome, and this seems like it'll be relatively funny, so I'm putting it on the list for now. But next up is Jigoku Sensei Nube, which is a remake of an, I believe, 80s manga / anime, and apparently this was one of the inspirations for Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, this anime is the inspiration for one of the most popular anime manga on Earth at the moment. So baseline premise is the main character Nube is the teacher of a new class, but as he is the teacher of this class, he has a superpowered supernatural demon arm, and he uses it to fight demons and otherworldly supernatural threats as he tries to defend his class through these different moments and interactions with these demonic entities. Primarily due to his left hand that is called the House Messenger, and it is here to make sure that the school's 7 mysteries, ghosts, evil spirits that are attacking the students can be dealt with. So it's an action occult story, which honestly, main reason, it looks really damn cool, and also it inspired Jujutsu Kaisen, so I'm interested to see what's going on with it. Next up is a, I guess, horror series, you want to go by it? Night of the Living Cats. Yes, I said that right. It is literally just a horror-esque series where there is a deadly virus that turns people into cats when you pet a cat, and then just turns people into cats. But people have to hold back their urge to pet these adorable cats, otherwise turning into cats, spreading the virus. This is probably one of the dumbest things I have seen on this list, and the main reason why I am watching this is to see if this concept can be entertaining, because this just seems like a zombie apocalypse spoof, and this could be hilarious, it could be a fun parody, or it could just be a one episode done gimmick that just doesn't feel interesting at all. I'm gonna give this a shot because it does feel like it could be a decent parody of the genre of zombie apocalypse movies, but other than that, there's not much else. The next anime I'm looking at is Hotel Inhumans, which is a hotel that houses assassins, and the receptionists essentially do any and all requests and don't say no to their guests, no matter the request.
We shall never deny a guest, even the most ridiculous request.
So the 2 concierges of this hotel are essentially dragged into multiple different interactions with different assassin groups and members that just asking for a variety of different requests, and they get dragged into all these different misadventures in the course of this hotel. So this seems very interesting, as we have a relatively stern female character with a relatively goofish male character for the most part, as we get to see their dynamic and bouncing off each other with these different situations. So this does seem to be very fun, and I'm going to give it a couple of episodes because the animation looks great, I like the character designs, and overall, it just feels like an interesting concept. So I'm looking forward to it. Next up is Takopes Original Sin. Now this is based off a 16-chapter manga. And this season is going to be only 6 episodes long, but that's all it needs. I read the first couple of chapters of the manga, and I'm not really going to swallow you on this, but do not let the looks of this anime deceive you. It will be an emotional roller coaster and will take you to a place that you did not know. It is very unpredictable, and you do not want to trust the art style. Trust me. It's a lot, and I will say this, it is not for the faint of heart. That's all the warning you're going to get. Though I do say watch episode 1 to see if you will enjoy this type of story. You will see what I mean when episode 1 comes out. It actually comes out on June 28th, a full week before the summer season officially occurs, and it's going to be out on Crunchyroll. So give it a watch. It'll probably be out by the time this video is out, so if you're watching this, go give it a watch, give it a try, see if you'll like it, see if you'll be interested in the story. Next up on the list of new anime adaptations is Togan Ani. Now, the series takes place in a world where there is a coursing feud between people with Momotaro and Oni blood coursing through their veins, having a long-standing rivalry. Onis tend to be careless, rash, and disorderly, while the Momotaro protect human world from uncontrollable Oni. And our main character Shiki discovers that he has Oni blood, and so he ends up enrolling in a school in order to basically learn how to control these urges, as he's thrown into this essential conflict between people with Oni and Momotaro blood. The anime looks amazing. It might be the sleeper hit, and the main character, if I'm being honest by looking at him, reminds me of Rin from Blue Exorcist, and a lot of people kind of compare the series to Blue Exorcist. And I won't lie, I love the Blue Exorcist manga, and the anime adaptation was fine for the most part. But either way, this seems to be a type of Exorcist-like story that I am very excited about, and I cannot wait to jump right into it because it just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. But now we have the last show on our list, probably the most anticipated anime of this season, or should I say Dongwa, as this is a Chinese animation based off of a Chinese web novel with over 1,400 chapters apparently, which is massive, mind you. But still, this shows how popular it is, as now it is getting an anime adaptation, which I believe is going to have about 24 episodes for its first season. A second season is in development right now, and the third season is already being planned, which is insane. So yeah, I am actually excited for this because the animation and the way this series looks is amazing. It takes place in a Victorian-looking world with steampunk aesthetics and occult horror elements. Our main character, Zhao Mingru, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, let me know in the comments because I don't have faith in my pronunciation skills. As our MC awakens as Klein Moretti, and as he is on the razor's edge of light and darkness, entangled in the warring churches in this world, with a legend of limitless potential and unspeakable danger. Essentially, this is a mystery action series in a steampunk supernatural world with magic, gods, and just a lot of occult and horror-like elements. And this looks incredible. I'm going into the series very, very blind because I want to be surprised. There aren't a lot of shows out there or even manga that I don't hear a lot about and get spoiled on it, but this one, while I've been hearing a lot of talk about it, I have not been hearing much about the overall plot, and I think it's best, based off the presentation, that many of us go in on this blind for the most part. But all I know is that this is a very fun mystery series with some action, occult elements in a steampunk-esque Victorian world, with our main character in a very precarious situation right now with gods and magic and potions and all that stuff. And look, I'm doing a disservice to this series, of this very popular series, with my very brief generalization of what it is about, but I think it's for the best that me and many others just go into this blind if we aren't already fans of this web novel series, because for a series this hyped up, it's probably best not to know much, if at all, about this series in order to get a good first impression of it, at least in my opinion, unless you're incredibly biased and just want to be a hater for no reason, which happens a lot, and I feel like a lot of anime on this list are just going to get haters for no reason, just because they're popular or hyped up. But yeah, Lord of the Mysteries is probably the most anticipated series of the summer season, outside of all of these high-quality sequels that are coming out, and that says a lot. If it is definitely, outside of Gachi Akuda, the most anticipated series coming out this year. So yeah, it is a series that I want to go into in blind, and I think we should all go into blind and get ready for probably what might end up being a very great ride. And I do, if I test things out, I might make this the first series that I do a reaction content on Patreon for. So there could be that. But either way, that was every anime, all 30 anime that I have listed out that I plan to watch or seem interested in for the summer 2025 season. Overall, a lot of hype stuff, a lot of returns, and a lot of new series that are either going to go under the radar or probably going to be dominating the season alongside a few of these highly anticipated sequels. But what do you guys think? Is this the most stacked season of anime in a long time? And will this be the biggest season of anime this year? At least I do believe so, based on what we know about the fall now. But still, let me know in the comment section down below what sequel and what new series you are excited for the most. And overall, what show are you excited for the most out of everything I mentioned here? Or is there a series that is coming out in the summer season that you are excited for that I did not list in this video? Let me know in the comment section. And once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And really quick, just want to give a nice shout out to channel members Nita Rose, Jonathan Algary, and Isaiah Bookman. They have been channel members for a good bit now, and if you want to become a channel member, go and click the join button down below so you can get access to when I do start streaming, patron-only streams, as well as early access to specific videos, patron-only polls and posts, as well as shoutouts at the end of these videos. Now with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really hope you guys are excited for the summer 2025 season, and I hope you all have an amazing summer.